what we've done on the protocol side is we've enabled communities to launch game ecosystem token for their token. So what that does is enable the capital formation for people to build a reward pool and a game ecosystem around an existing token. So you can imagine Fartcoin launching the Fartcoin game coin. That community came, they staked their tokens, they voted to launch the token, they own a piece of the supply for having launched it, and now they're trying to figure out how to create the best Fartcoin game ecosystem. So there are many games that are already attached to that token, and the advantage for someone who's interested in supporting these reward pools in the game ecosystem is that there are a lot of games attached to it, right? And new games are being added regularly. And so from that perspective, there could be future games that are added where they're interested in buying more of the game coin themselves to support getting more rewards on their own game. There are ways for them to be supported by the people who hold it right now because they stake to decide where to allocate the rewards from the reward pool. So the game coin becomes a governance mechanism to decide where these rewards go. Ultimately, it's up to each of these communities how they want to support their own game ecosystem. And we're just building the infrastructure to make it possible. And when these communities do support their game ecosystem, the game developers will be coming in and hopefully be able to grow their ecosystem around a token. And it becomes something where like even a meme coin or something that has like a CTO'd project with a group chat can suddenly be able to support something like this without building infra, right? It's like probably a lot of them have always thought like, oh, I wish there was a game for our token. And now it's something that's like actually very easy to execute on where they can use their own efforts to go and say, hey, like, look at this game I found on the internet. Like, let's go find this guy and tell them to put it in the SDK. And that's something that could be like a one-day conversation and could actually happen. We're already starting to see that.
Okay. How does this look for a successful game and a token that has decent community? Let's take any example of any token community and a game that has, reasonably high number of DAUs or MAUs. How do the economics look? What creates the buy pressure on the token and so on?
Yeah, the idea is that if you're able to create a sufficiently interesting network of these tokens and these game developers, that it becomes something that more spaces in crypto will naturally want to add these games because they're also earning rewards. So you can imagine the wallets that distribute these games with a play button on their token info pages could earn rewards for sending players to these games. Now, once you're sending high quality users and traffic to these games, then the game developers are naturally going to see a return for the more token that are staked on their game. They'll get more distribution. So the long-term thinking here is that as more networks start integrating Open Game Protocol, it could be something that becomes more interesting for more game developers to buy or stake the game coin to get a better reward distribution and higher sort of placement in terms of like if you click on dog with hat games, like you're probably going to expect the one with the most rewards to show up first. So there ends up being sort of a competition between the games to get the most people to stake against their game to get the most of the reward pool, which they could always buy and support their own game. So you can imagine a way where like it's going to depend on the community. There's a lot of tokens out there, right? I mean, that's certainly been the theme of the last couple of years. And it could be that there's not really much of a market for a game coin for some long tail tokens. I mean, there are tokens where there's not really a market for the token itself. So of course there's going to be game ecosystem tokens that just don't make sense. Like there's no market there. People aren't interested in building games for it or buying the token and hoping that the reward pool grows to attract game developers to come in the first place. But then there are others where like people really believe in it conceptually and they know the token has a lot of mind share and the community might be like very active in promoting the games. At the end of the day, it's up to their efforts, right?
And like how are game developers earning their revenue? Is it also by selling a few things as you progress in the game?
That's right. Yeah. So for game developers, it's pretty simple. It's like when people stake against their game, there's a part of this reward pool every day that's going to be allocated to them. So the game developer actually receives some rewards directly. So this is a really strong incentive for game developers to actually go and integrate this thing in the first place. They don't just need the traffic. If they just build a funny GigaChad game that people like, that doesn't even monetize because it doesn't have a great, in-app purchase economy or ads, well, now like maybe they'll get some of the reward pool. Maybe they'll make $10 a day. Maybe that's interesting for them because maybe they didn't spend that much time on it, right? That's kind of like this creator economy piece of this that opens up, but it can scale up in the sense that maybe, like I said later, when there's more distribution, then people can actually go and buy this because it's a good channel and they have an ad budget because maybe they are making money on ads and maybe they are making money in in-app purchases. And the protocol is not taking any of those fees. We're not suggesting that we're building a protocol that's like the Steam of Web3 or some new payments layer. I think it's been very, very challenging for GameFi projects to create enough buy pressure on a token with the payments layer. I think the reason is pretty simple, which is the value proposition of crypto has always been cheaper payments. payments. And if you think about where the payments have been on Apple or something, it's 30%. Yeah, and you can do lower than that, but is 10% low enough for crypto? It still feels very expensive. So you find game company or GameFi projects that are focused on payments going down to really, really low fees, 1% or 2%. And then if you have a game that makes $100 million a year and you're taking 1% fees and that's going to buy back a token, that's $1 million of buy pressure. It's just not enough. And you have a game that's doing $100 million a year. So where do games spend their money? Games spend all of their money on acquiring more users. That
Right.
is the answer. That is the answer.